Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hi. Ah. Hey, Luca. Yeah. How's it going? How's it going? Hello. Yes. Welcome. Yeah, that's the ad thing going into effect so that I can turn off pre-rolls. That's what that is. It's nice because it turns off pre-rolls, but it does do like four or six ads or something like that at the beginning of the stream. But hey, you don't have to deal with ads when you're joining, which is nice. That's cool. How's it going, Luca? Oh. Feels good to be streaming. Feels good. I am very hyped for today. We are going to be continuing Endwalker today, which is going to be sick. I was going to be streaming yesterday, but I fell asleep. And yeah. And when I woke up, I decided that it was a good idea to spend 3 hours fine-tuning all of my graphics settings and my
motherfucker.
Oh. You're not supposed to be in here. Damn it. I forgot about those. Yes. Oh, let me turn down the. There we go. Music down. Yeah, I decided that it was a great use of my time to completely revamp like how things are recorded. So hopefully YouTube viewers will be like, if anybody's watching this in like the 2 months it takes for YouTube to process anything, it actually looks better, which is nice, which is hopefully gonna be nice. But yeah. Great time management on my part. Anyway, what other sounds do I have on here? I don't have a bunch of channel ones. I guess those will have to be. I'll have to be surprised because it's been like 2 months since I set those up. But yeah, we're Endwalker today. I'm super excited. We got to cool underground place last time, and it's sick. And yeah. Story. I love it. It's gonna be good. And I can't thumbs up properly. My hands are broken today. I don't know why. They're a little messed up. Just a little bit. Oh. There we go. No, don't fall. There we go. No. Sorry, my arm is falling out. it's fine. But yeah. Speaking of Final Fantasy, button. Yes. I'm excited. We got a lot of stuff. We went through a huge portion of it. It's probably not even that much of Endwalker last time. Hey, Rag! What's up? How you doing, bud? I haven't spoken to you today. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mwahaha. But let me actually, before we actually get into doing any crazy stuff, I want to chat for a little bit. So we're gonna do some side things for now. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I have had my coffee. I am no longer tired. I am no longer distracted, and we are good. We are fantastic. Coffee is my lifeblood, and I love it. And I feel like I'm slowly devolving into like coffee-brained person because I felt the urge earlier to like talk to people about coffee equipment and things like that, which is not good. I should stop doing this. I get whenever I start on something, I get really invested into something. I bought like a little coffee pot like a little while ago, and it makes really good coffee. And I want to recommend it to people, but I don't want to be that guy who walks into a Discord call and is like, "Hey, you know, you can get this, you know, you can have like really good coffee, right?" And I'll do that for like 2 months. I don't want to do that. It's weird. But yeah, coffee's good. But yes, let's see, anything good today? All you have to do, it's the secret of life. All you have to do is assume that it's going to fail, and you'll get a good number. You'll get the good winning prize. That's all it takes. That's all it is. Hell yeah. How much MGP do I even have? How much do I have? 483,000. Nice. It's fine. As far as I know, I have a monster can on the window frame to keep it cool. Wait, you have it on the window frame to keep it cool? Oh, I forgot you're in the land of snow and ice, yes. That makes sense. You're in the cold climate. And if I put anything on my window from here, hell, if I have my window open here, it raises the room temperature by 10 degrees. I am jealous of you all who live in the cold climates. I can't stand the heat. I hate it. It's pain incarnate. All things are is like, you wake up in the morning and all you want to do is take a shower, and then 10 minutes afterwards, everything is just pain. Next to a cold, lukewarm breeze. God damn it! Only consolation prizes. Dang it! I want more. I want more MGP. Give me more. I'm not sure what numbers to choose. Let's just hit the random button again. Yeah. And I actually need to try some monster. I haven't tried a monster in... Oh, God. What has it been? Middle school? No, it's been... Has it? I think it's actually been since middle school that I had a monster. It's been a long time. I remember someone gave me one, and it was when I didn't have caffeine very often. So I went and drank a little bit of it. And, yeah, I threw up in the middle of I think it was actually during our yearbook signing. I had a little bit of monster, and I could not handle it. Caffeine was not my life at the time. Not good. But now it sustains me. I have become the epitome of, like, just the programmer who sits there and just drinks caffeine all the time. I spin my old Routh drawing into an art remake list. Ooh, cool. Wait, art remake list. What are the details? I want to know. I want to see cool Routh. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm in a D&D campaign with Rag here, and he has a really cool dragon man named Routh. It's really cool. He goes around and hits things. I'll learn it, of course, but I get to see what they do with the character. Oh, so it's like they get to... so it's like somebody else redrawing it. It's like a raffle to see who's redrawn or something like that. That's cool. Ooh, I'd like to spit Pompous into that. That would be sick. My campaign's cool, though. We have, like... I think it's been going on for, what, 5 years now? I think we're level 11 in it. It's going to be sick with it. We have some cool stuff going on in it. It's going to be really cool. Do we want to go straight to that? Is there something else I need to do? I faintly remember there's some being some other daily that I need to do, but I can't remember right now, so I'll see if I can remember it later. But that's really cool. You are contractually obligated to send me that picture after you are done with it, or after it gets done with, if it gets done with. I want to see it. That's pretty cool though. DM me who it is. I want to get to know more artists. I want to know of more artists. I feel like I've been painfully removed from the artist scene. I haven't really been anywhere where I can meet many artists. And I want to know more. Because artists are cool people. They're very talented. That's neat. Alright, gotta warm up my vocal cords a little bit. Make sure you stay hydrated, everybody. Delicious. Right. Are we ready to get into the story for today? Have I gone through all of these yet? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, as a bit of a warning, for anyone who is currently playing or is going to play Final Fantasy, I must give this warning beforehand. We are about to get into spoiler territory. In fact, we are a little bit into spoiler territory already. So, just be warned. Spoilers ahead. Don't spoil yourself. Yes. But, I have over 10,000 submissions. Excuse me, what? 10,000? What? 10,000? That's so many submissions. What do they do? Do they just like go in and like pick a random one, or is it? I doubt with 10,000 it's in order. It's like first come first serve. It'd be 5 years ago that they're still on. They shall be life in service to that. Probably reaching the 50,000 at the moment. Oh, dang. Okay, that's cool. That's very cool. Random pick that they like. That's cool. I doubt that you'd be able to, like, if I had like a file of 50,000 submissions or something that I needed to go through, I would probably not be able to even like process all of those. That's crazy. Cool though. Very cool. Artists are cool. I'd say the artist community online is like really cool. I'm not going to go into a huge tangent right now, because otherwise the intro of this stream will be like 4 hours long. But they like dragons. That's cool. Very cool. Okay, I will do a little bit of Alphino dialogue, and then we can chat a little bit more, because I feel like in this area we're gonna have a lot of in-between spaces that we can walk around and do some chatting and things like that. This feels like that sort of area. I mean, look at the map. It's cool. But all right. Alphino. Hello. So recap from last stream. The entire intro from Endwalker. So we got to Sharlayan, which is really cool. Our boy Emmett is the voice for this thing. He introduces us to all the places, which is really sick. Sharlayan's doing some crazy stuff. We're underground in some sort of like world-ending Fallout bunker, which is interesting. Well, at least they're like trying to convert it into that. It's pretty neat. But yeah. Lots of crazy stuff's happening. I think also Hyland's trying to contact us. Kryl for some reason can't get through. Service is bad. Cell reception's down. No towers down here. No 5G. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at right now. We're trying to get information. And Alphino? Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed to the main building and speak with the custodian. Okay. We walk. Yes. But there's so much cool stuff happening. It's all like flooding back, and my level of hype is rising again. It is good. Speaking of which, actually, where's... I just spotted the Chocobo Keep. Took me a second to process that. And I'd love to like hire an artist to make like a cool like take on my Final Fantasy character. I haven't really changed my character that much over the course of me playing and things like that. I'd love to have someone like actually properly draw that, which would be cool. Because like I play this game for what? Playtime. 30 days, which is actually not as many as I was thinking, but still. Like hundreds of hours. It'd be cool to have like a really cool like that'd be neat. In the market for something on the rarer side. Got a whole village's worth of surplus from the Archons. Oh, this is the gemstone stuff. Okay, cool. Fate things, yes. If you can take a solid screenshot, I'd outline it for you. Oh yeah. Is there any sort of pose that you would prefer or anything like that? Any pose? Let's see. Sleep pose. Actually, that's pretty good. Let me get in the light real quick. There we go. Yeah, I forgot you do a lot of really cool stuff. There. Aha. Let me see if I can. Right, I will send that later in the Discord as well. Yes. This is a cool spot. Man, Sharlayan's neat. They are, I think I am, like, at least slightly onto something, though. They have a very similar architectural style to Amarat, which is sort of uncanny. It's like Amarat meets Roman architecture. It's weird. It's kind of off-putting, because it's like normal-sized people thing, not 30-foot tall giants. So, Hello? Oh, they have progos. Oh, they have the frog dudes. That's cool. Greetings. We are here to peruse the Archean's vaults. Peruse? You're certainly not gleaners, then. Might I ask your affiliation? You belong to the students of Baldessian. But is that relevant? I was given to believe that the vaults, those open to the public at least, were open to the public? Ordinarily, yes. That would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved with the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. Ah, that's gonna be worrying. Not us, then. I suppose we'd better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the main tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. Wait, so this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time, it'll be too late. We were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Should we be talking about this in front of the guy who's denying us access? Let us step outside for a moment, shall we? Yes, that is good. That is a fantastic idea. Students of Baldessian. Okay. They are all aware not to spill the beans to us. That is worrying. Rude. Alright. The Forum must be wary of exposure indeed to so heavily restrict the use of public institutions. Maybe we're just, like, blacklisted from everything. That's probably the case. If they're going to close off facilities, then they ought to announce it. Students must be furious. Labyrinthos is constructed in the shape of a mortar. This upper level is called the Outer Circuit, and the medieval circuit lies one tier below us. Wait, a mortar? I must be thinking of the wrong definition of mortar. Not Mordor. One does not simply walk into Labyrinthos. I think one of my lights is making my eyes stay closed all the time. It's a little too bright for me, so let me just yeet. There we go. Much better. Maybe? There we go. Y'shtola. We are at an impasse. As we have no other leads, I should like to peruse this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek other means to access the lower levels. Are there other means? 'Tis likely the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to integrate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. I think things might be pretty rough to try to piggyback off of someone. But worth a shot. Maybe that guy from before will help us out. Maybe. Is there anyone around here? Hello? You love this. The design of this area is so cool. Do I have any? I don't know even. Like a whole underground bunker. That's neat. Is there anyone that I can talk to that's other than this person? No. Okay. I want to get all of the story. All of it. Am I taking the lift? Oh no, we're just students. They want us to let us into the Archeon. Even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere. But it was wandering around Tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Something's squeaking in there. Oddest little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archeon is open again. That's worrying. Well, hopefully nothing bad has been brought in here. Hopefully nothing bad. That would be very unfortunate. Where's the other one? There should be one other person. Hello? Are you out there? No. Okay. Why do they have so many crystals and things, too? Ah. Hello. What do you have to say? What's that? Take you down on the lift with me? Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day. And only now have I finally found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading to the gate earlier, though, shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be heading down below after he's done with whatever he's doing. That would be that was most helpful. Where is this lift, actually? Is it that building? There's so many places around here. This would be another cool place. I want to explore this a little bit more. But this would be another cool place to, like, play hide and seek or something. It's a pretty big area. Lots of little nooks and crannies that you could find yourself going into. Might be fun. Would they just be in, like, a random spot? No, I would think that they would be up here. Let's see. Can't go in there. Okay. I still want to do that. I want to try to get enough people to do that. Maybe just put together, like 30 people. All scrambling around a zone, trying to find more people. Over here, maybe? No, it wouldn't be down this far. I wouldn't think, at least. Oh, hey, there he is. Hello, Aaronville. Oh, it was this guy. I think this is the same guy from before. Why? You'll frighten it away. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is close. Very close. Yeah, I got you. You wish to help me with this too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kind. But the one I'm after today is the hornbill. Its feathers are green, and its cry a distinctive paw. Single it out and shoot it with a sleeping dart. Okay. The effects are short-lived, so I'll lie in wait down by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. Okay. Ah, right here. Oh, is this going to be another one of those? Yeah. Nice. I love this mechanic. We haven't really used this since... Oh. Oh, you! You! No, come on. What? Hello? There we go. Is that the one? You have sedated the wrong bird. That was not it. Wait. Is it the... Oh, I'm a fool. Suck at this. Yeah, I'm glad that they're bringing back some of the weird mechanics though. That's cool. So it's neither of these, I don't think. I think it's that one in the back. Maybe. Cause. Oh, green bird. I am dumb. There we go. I should read. Don't hit the red one, hit the green one. I'd love if they started bringing back. What are some other? I know there are a couple like obscure mechanics that they really haven't like used all that much outside of their respective expansions. Though I guess they're kind of doing the opposite sort of thing. I saw that. I'll leave this for after when we're out of this cutscene.
A fair shot.
Ah, voice acted.
Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
Okay. Oh, I love the voice acting for the Viera. They're Icelandic. Brag, they're Icelandic voice actors.
There you are. Any new revelations?
Well, we have this guy over here. Yeah, Reg, all of the Viera, which are like the bunny-eared people in this game, they're all Icelandic. They're all voiced by Icelandic voice actors, or at least they all have Icelandic accents. That's from what I have been told and what it sounds like. Yes.
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill?
Yes.
I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Are they bringing them down to lower areas, maybe?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a gleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
Why so? I was under the impression that things that were being brought below were for food and sustainability. So,
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum.
oh wait, are the Forum just gonna go down there on their own and just like say screw you to all the rest of the people? Because they're not telling anyone else around about this. So,
The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
it's just so crazy about their research here.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation.
I mean, if they were experimenting on them, this would be the perfect place to capture them from. Nobody on the surface would question it. Nobody really in Sharlayan questions the Gleaners about anything like that, so perfect place to catch something from, especially if it's a species that reproduces fairly quickly like the rabbits he was after earlier.
But Judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research.
You better hope nobody's listening in on this, Darrenville.
I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
Mericidia? Oh, like a hornbill. It's like a shoebill, but it has a hornbill. Yes. Like a
What?
rhinoceros.
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance.
That's what I was... Yeah. Because they were talking about things that could reproduce very easily, or certain species of plants that are very edible, things like that.
They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
Yep, this is a Fallout bunker. Okay.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Well, if you could just let us go down a little bit, that would be amazing. Wait, can we get work as Glean? I suppose that would be a little difficult, especially for people with associations like us. But,
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift.
So they don't even let the Gleaners go down. Fascinating.
I will, of course, follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
Yes.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down.
Do tell. This guy is super friendly with us. Not that I'm, like, opposed to it or anything like that, but... Hey. I think even he knows something weird is going on, and he's just like, hey, we gotta get to the bottom of this a little bit.
This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos.
Ooh.
While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
Well, the Gleaners would know that something like that was there. I mean, none of the researchers would have any reason to look into something like that. Only the people who
You're
prepped
quite
the space.
But consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Thank you for all your help, Arnville. I hope we meet again, and I hope that no one overheard what we were talking about. Especially because we're kind of in, like,
Well, turning back is
one
hardly
of...
an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
We're in, like, one of the most magical places where pretty much if there's a person who could somehow magically overhear our conversation, they'd probably be here. So, yes, let us go look for this mine shaft. I smell a dungeon coming on. Yes. Yeah, I really like how they don't have, like, everyone sound... Not everyone in this game has, like, the same accent. I really like that. They actually change things up a little bit, so not everyone just sounds like British person. It's good. And I like how they kind of go out of their way to get some of the more varied accents, which is cool. Especially with what I know about the Vieira. Because I'm pretty sure, from what I heard, it might not be, like, fully correct or anything like that. From what I heard, yes, yes, exotic. There we go. Exotic accents. It's cool, because, like, pretty much every game on the planet can go to, like, an office where they can contract someone who has, like, the normal, like, voice actors you'd hear in most things, but it's not very often you find, like, an Icelandic voice actor or something like that. It's cool. Oh, I want to go over to that ledge, but I don't want to get hit by those things. I want to take a look around. I'm really enjoying just, like, some of the vistas in this area. It's cool. It seems... I guess it's not, like, that big, but it's cool. We're going down through a mine shaft. We're definitely going to be able to get over there. Sure to hear Icelandic in big games. Yeah. I never would have noticed this cave on my own. Thank the scholar that Erenville knew of it, and that you were there to persuade him to share. Yeah, well, a little help can go a long way. I took a quick peek inside, but it's awfully dark in there. The medial circuit, which Erenville mentioned, is the tier directly below us. Unlike the lowest level of Labyrinthos, which is rigid with its rigid security, one can usually roam the middle layer quite freely. Let us see what we might find. This must be it. The entrance to the mineshaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed there by the researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Ooh. Headgear gopher. Nice. Very nice. I like one of the lines in front of her. I have no idea how I'd pronounce that. There are some letters in there that I don't even know what the sound would be for those. I'd really love to, like, try to learn some other languages at some point. So far, I've tried to learn a couple, but, yeah, attention. Like, I can't... No! DirectX error! Come on, game. Okay, well, I gotta restart my Final Fantasy real quick. Give me just 1 second. Dang it! I don't know why. I've been getting a lot more Final Fantasy crashes lately. It's a little weird. Here's my... There it is. Yeah. English is like the most... From what I've heard, actually, it's pretty difficult for non-native speakers to pick up. But, like, English is a little bit more straightforward for me in terms of, like, how the letters correspond to things. Even though there are some letters which just have, like, the same sound or very similar sounds. It's, yeah. Right. And flame. Yeah, I look at you and the Swedes chatting away in Discord sometimes, and I'm just like, no idea what you're saying. I would like to pick up another language, though. I was trying at one point, and I know this is going to be, yes, I'm a VTuber who is online, and I'm trying to learn it, but yeah, I was trying to learn Japanese at one point. I think I was trying to learn German at one point. And to, like, communicate with you guys, I was trying to learn Swedish, and I just couldn't. For some reason, my brain just gets muddled very easily. Just rants in Icelandic, and no one would argue anything I say. True. Well, you are the only person who speaks Icelandic in, like, our group. I think Cormac might, like, get a little bit, but maybe. I don't actually know. Game. Okay, let's hope we don't crash. Hey, alright. Is all of this gonna... Yes. Egg? Egg. Okay. No crashy. Good. The medial circuit. I wish I had some obscure language that I could just rant in for like 10 minutes. But I do not. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, then I say we head on in. Given the terrain ahead, though it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow. Don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. Dungeon time. I think, right? No? This isn't a dungeon. Flash wave. No, wait. There we go. Walking. RP walk time. We can sightsee on the inside of this cave. Oh, this is cool. You know, I saw that they like remade a bunch of the Realm Reborn dungeons, which is cool. This reminded me of what is it? Tamter Deep Cross? No. 1,000 Maws of Totorak. I saw somebody going through that a little bit before. It really changed a bunch of those. It's cool. I don't know why I remembered it now, but it is neat. Admittedly, I turn to English words when I forget the stupidly odd words. Why are there so many? Yeah, I think, like, from what I know nothing of Icelandic. But from what I know, like, English is like one of the easier languages to come up with like a curse word or something in. Even though like some languages have absolutely fantastic curse words. English just has a lot too. Let's see. Destination? Defeat any enemies that appear. Ah, Noble Mithril Cap. I need to reorganize some of my hotlines a little bit. I have realized that some of these need to be changed around. I think I want to switch these two a little bit. Yeah, much more easily. I'm trying to be a little bit more, like, how should we say, family-friendly on stream. Because since I've started uploading my VODs to YouTube, YouTube has been like, hey, we're auto-captioning a bunch of this, and you've said some not so savory things. Which is not, like, bad. It's just apparently the number of, like, dams and stuff like that I've just dropped apparently is picked up by their algorithm is like, they're like, yeah. So, yeah. It is very, very easy to use the curse in English. Go away. There we go. Learn some Icelandic. They would never complain. Honestly, seeing YouTube, I doubt that they even have proper translation for their closed captions into Icelandic. I highly doubt that they have So some guy's got to sit there meticulously, like, for 4 hours translating everything that goes over YouTube. Yeah. It's all the more obscure ones. I hope it's not weird to say, but yeah. Oh, that's that guy's stuff. Okay. He's doing the same stuff I am. Yay! All right, we'll race him. We'll get to the end of the tunnel before he does. Unless he has a mount. In that case, I cannot run faster than his mount. Dodge this guy. Nice. Down. Wow, that was actually quite simple. I'm surprised no one takes that at all. And we're here. Oh, so that's how that connected. Okay. It's like a giant staircase looking thing. Neat. That mineshaft was infested with mithril caps. Some sort of research projects, I wonder? I suppose they are a most unusual creature. Why do they develop such long limbs when all they do is shuffle about narrow tunnels? That is creepy. I don't like them. They're like... ugh. They're like frog mushroom bugs. Grasshopper things. I was being careful, I swear. The slope was steeper than I thought, and I lost my footing for a moment, that's all. I'm not injured. If you don't count my pride. She's slip and fall, no! Arian, did you know Kryl almost took a tumble back there? She can't possibly still be dizzy from the lift. No, that's Heidelin stuff. She took too much Heidelin juice. I have no idea how they got empty sausage out of the Icelandic word for tomato sauce. What? How did how did that happen? Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And, as promised, the tunnel has delivered us to the medial circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Ehrenvel's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. Okay. Wait, do they not have their... Oh, no, they do have them. I was about to say if they didn't have their watering things on. The sprinklers. But nope, they do. They do. This is a big area. Where's the actual aetherite crystal? Is it down there? Ah, it is down there. I see. All right. Have a good night now. I will see you later. Oh. What's going on here? Oh, this is the thing I saw from the ledge up there. I see. This is a bigger area than I thought. It's a little farm. Oh, they got the loaded. They got the grapes. I can see they're noticeably higher quality. Now I know where we are. This is the Mariel Agronomics. 65 new. That's a lot. Dang. Damn. Labyrinthos is a host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. Fruits? More notable successes might make it to Agora. Foods so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. It's kind of interesting that they do that, because from what I know, everyone here just eats that weird bread. Indeed, mystery vegetables without a name. Only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. Yep. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. Might be why nobody was allowed down here. It's possible they know something of the forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? We should be treading carefully here, but see what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same to cast about our useful clue. Words. Difficult. All right. Well, maybe I should not be walking around so freely with my weapon out. So I'm gonna just. There we go. Now I look like a normal person down here. Good. Until I do that. Oh, speaking of which, actually, let me. We have the foot coffer and the headgear coffer, which I want to open each of because they are both actually pretty decent pieces of gear. Actually, that looks pretty good, too. Alright. Give me all of your information, people. I must know what is happening. Well, there's just no one around. Oh, hey, Alphino. I can speak to them. Yes. And so you spent years researching these high-yield cultivation techniques? That's the guy that I should be talking to. Hello? Oh, it's not often you meet someone here who so obviously doesn't belong. Can I help you with something? Tell me about yourself. Tell me your life story. For now, at least, I'm the second most important person in this facility. Now, you may think I'm shirking my duties, but even at this very moment, I am envisioning how we can improve our methods. Gazing upon this watermill calms my heart and clears my mind of unnecessary thoughts, leaving room only for brilliant ideas. Even so, inspiration takes time. Today it seems to be slower in coming than usual. What kind of place is this, then? Mariel Agronomics is where the finest agricultural minds gather to research plant specimens from around the realm, and the methods by which to cultivate them. Plants grown here are also used to feed people working in Labyrinthos, straight from our fields to their tables, fresh as fresh can be. Nice. Oh, there's a couple people I could talk to. Okay. No two corners of the world cultivate the land in the same way. My research involves poring over the many texts gathered by the gleaners to produce something altogether greater than the sum of its parts. Very cool. You know, people do that a lot IRL. Lots of effort goes into to maximizing food yields and things like that, maximizing flavor and stuff. A field full of ripe vegetables being left to rot on the vine. Not a single picker hard at work. Clearly, producing readily available fresh food is not on the forum's priority. That's weird and interesting. Why would they not pick the food? The gourds we grow here are something of an agricultural wonder. We've crossbred varieties from all across the realm to create pumpkins that are sweet, sizable, and rich in nutrients. Delicious. Delicious. I'm told this cart holds the harvest meant for the larders here. Nothing out of the ordinary. That's a surprisingly small amount of stuff on that cart. Alright, what have you to say? Give me your information. Oh, hello there. We weren't expecting visitors. Not with the use of the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here anyway? The mine shaft, you say? Well, you're much harder soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the forum has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests, literal wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling round old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation, and was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. Let me see what he has after this. Visit us again when the lift is back in normal operation. I should hope we'll have all new crops to show you by then. But we probably won't. Wow, They're really hammering home that everyone here is just painstakingly preparing for this. But that's a lot of people for all of this. Though it is giving me a little bit more reassurance that they won't just abandon everyone because of how much they're actually bringing down there. Of course, the light of the artificial sun is not so brilliant as the real one. However, it allows us to grow crops without having to worry about the inclement weather or changing seasons, making the results of experimentation much more consistent. Being able to climate control, it's basically a giant greenhouse with some cool, like, side things. It must be pretty hot down here, though, because this person is sweating. Do I have a lot to be taken down below? More than I can carry, and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift, but some has been earmarked for aerial transport. Hence the stock of crates atop the hill over there. Hauling the lot up that slope was a job and a half. Well, I might be able to help out with that. Ah, there we go. Another person. For many years, I have poured my energies into developing more bountiful crops. My life's goal is to produce a seed from which both potato and tomato will grow. Oh, man can dream. That would be wild. What would that be called? Like a topopo? Potato? Topopo plant? Why are you harvesting wheat right now? Take a moment to survey the surrounding area. There are several other facilities nearby we can investigate if we fail to learn aught of value here. Well, at least I might have secured us a route to bring more crates down, which might be nice. And there are some more of these automatons that are doing things here, jumping around, investigating the grapes. Like a little rabbit. What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one is a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising, given that it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled, a region in the south of Ilseberd. Oh. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for myriad flora and fauna to thrive. Chilly peaks in the north give way to swamps of temperate plains, which in turn transition into a hot, humid coastline. Such beautiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. It used to be called Corvos, before the Imperials renamed it to Locus Ammonius. The Forum saw it not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments and cultivation. Fascinating. Ilseberd. I know we've seen a lot of people talking about Ilseberd, but I don't think we've actually been to Ilseberd. That's a tomato. That's actually just a tomato. Cool. It's just a walking tomato. And it's attacking me. Cease your attacks, tomato. I wonder if you can get ketchup for killing this thing. What would you get for killing this thing? Okay. That's so strong. It looks so angry. I love it. I want one as a pet. Oh, we only get XP, no items. God, there's some weird stuff down here. Oh, wait. Oh, up on the cliff, of course. Get in the car. No! Get in the car, Shinji. God damn it. Get away from me. There we go. Now we can get in the car. Is there a mecha I can get so that joke actually lands? I suppose there are plenty. The labels on the crates tell the story of their contents. Bundles of common seeds and saplings, accompanied by sheaves of reports. Oh? Do we get to do a little bit of sneaky reading here? A little bit of sneaky reading. Huh?
Hard to look away, isn't it?
Ooh.
But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion.
Oh. How? You seem like a chill fellow.
You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair.
What's this little pink then? Around the corners.
Yet even with the collected wisdom of Sharlayan at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin.
Where did you originally pick it up then?
To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration.
It reminds me of like, you know how like every culture just has like a different version of dragon, but we can't really pinpoint exactly like where dragons originally came from or anything like that. It's like, I think it's like likely that dragons were just sort of picked up because or it was like a common thread or common thing because of like dinosaur bones in the areas and things like that. But it kind of reminds me of that. We can't figure out where these things are coming from. Historians are baffled.
As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Wonder if they're gonna change color with all of us here. That's cool. I love minor world
Have you
building
learned
like
aught
that.
of interest?
I learned about some cool flowers. And there's these boxes here with a bunch of notes scribbled all around them.
A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we fail to gain any significant insight into the forum's undertaking.
I knew that Alize was going to come in and be like, yeah, that's really cool, but you know we have a mission right now. Cool story,
Indeed.
bro.
While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production,
He really did just hit us with that K.
unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly.
That would be helpful, but possibly a little bit too straightforward. Ah. As if summoned by coincidence, something happens.
Isn't that the entrance to the Archaeum?
Ah, it's our boy. Wait, I thought he wasn't... Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Look,
it was...
there.
Yeah.
I think that's Erenville.
It was... He wasn't going to be, like, allowed down... We weren't going to be allowed down there with him because there was no reason for us to come with him, but... Hey, if we found our own way, bending the rules a little bit.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member? Or at least a close associate?
He's our ticket.
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
Okay, Alpha, no. I know that you really want to know, but you're already up knee-deep water right now. It would probably be the best for you not to get even more on your father's bad side. You know, if they at least captured me, they'd have something interesting to, like, investigate. I doubt that they would have had a Warrior of Light. If they imprisoned me, I have the jailbreak opportunity.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
Alright. Come along.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all...
Yeah. Trial? You good?
Cryo?
You good?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
What was that movie? I think it was like the early 2000s. There was a movie where like all of the... I think the premise of it was like all of the plants just suddenly just got fed up with the humans cutting them down and everything like that. And they released a toxin to just like make all the humans like die or something like that. They, like everyone got hypnotized and just died and stuff. Gryle, don't let that happen to you. Don't... What was that movie called? I'm such a boomer.
I'm glad you agree.
Don't get too... Do not look into the light, Kryle. Do not look into the abyss.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Yes, even though he's walking incredibly slowly away from that door. Quite... Yes. Don't look at the flowers, Kryle.
I can almost reach you.
Ah. Why are we able to hear Heidelin so... I won't say easily, but she's definitely still straining herself. Is it because we're the actual Warrior of Light, maybe? Because she's obviously... Actually, we haven't really... she hasn't spoken to us since we've been down here, which is... interesting. It could... I'm a little bit less inclined with my theory from last stream that down here is, like, interfering with it some way, and more so that Heidelin, in a way to make it easier for her, has like attuned herself to us and focused her attention on us a little bit more. So it's harder for people like Kryl to actually hear her voice. I'm thinking that's probably what it is a little bit more. Or maybe Kryl is like leveling up her echo a little bit. Either way. Forgive me. My attention was elsewhere. We were following Erenvel, weren't we? Yes. Please don't die. Everyone with the echo is not doing too well right now. Please don't die. It feels wrong to spy on Erenvel. Helpful as he's been, but what other choice do we have? True. I feel like 5 people poking their ear up against a wall is probably a bit much, but hey. Let's get after him already. We've waited too long as it is. Okay. Is Kryl still feeling unwell? Never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Yes. Did you see which way Erenvel went? Let me see if this is the same... Yeah, okay. It's the same dialogue. That was A. Erenvel was heading westward along the path outside of the Archean. Come, we can still catch him. Yes. Yeah, I'm still holding on to that one though, because I think there is some merit to it, because they have some method of keeping the final days from happening here a little bit, or something like that. Possibly. Wait. Oh, wait. It's this way. Oh, okay. So if they have some sort of method of keeping the final days away, perhaps it also in some way interferes with Heidelin's influence on people with the Echo, which is quite possible. It's a lower theory. It's not something I'm like massively on right now, but still keeping that in there. It's still in the contention. It's still in the contention? Is that the right word? I think so. Wait, is it on this side? Oh, it's on a bridge. Where are we eavesdropping from? Where are we dropping, boys? It seems Y'shtola wishes to have a word with us. Indeed. We've fallen too far behind. This damned mist won't help either matters. Stop. I can still hear it. Don't be dropping eaves. Hello, Bodrick. Welcome. Y'shtola. Hello. Wait. A hand didn't work. One sec. Hello. Greetings. Hold a moment. I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate control centers. It should have its own lifts, which one... okay. Come on, language comprehension. You can do this. Brain, we can do this. We just gotta work together. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper and lower tiers. Aye, if I were an agent of the Forum, yeah, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Erenvel in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. Sneakies. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Ooh, do say. Hippity hop, my little toes. No! No, not the frog spell. Yes! Goodness! From now on, ribbit. Ribbit. Oh wait, no. Unaccustomed to transfiguration? Worry not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. We are all frogs on this blessed day. And what am I to do in the meantime? Where are we hopping, boys? I need to stop. Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'll be likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would to learn anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. Wait a second. You have changed into a toad. You must remain transfigured in order to progress with quest objectives. You will return to your transfigured status if you move too far away. Look to your map for the transfiguration's area of effect. With your Strolla, yeah, okay. So, wait, your Strolla can at any time unwillingly transform any of us into frogs, making the Warrior of Light completely defenseless. Why does no one else have this magic? I feel like if any of the Asians had this sort of power, we would all be dead, and the world would be sundered, or I guess rejoined. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Wait, okay. Alpha Toad and Alpha Toad. Okay, this... Select a willing target. Ah, yes. You must be willing. Though, in D&D, there are technically ways to sort of force that a little bit. The old... Wait. I actually haven't played too many, like, spellcasters in D&D who would be able to do this, but couldn't you technically, like, charm a person in D&D, henceforth making them willing, and then polymorph them? Or, like, turn them into something? I am in love with this. Ah, yes, the ultimate world-destroying magic. Ah, yes, hello, BBEG. We are here to defeat you. You are now charmed, and we are going to turn you into a harmless ribbit. Good. Yes. Stabs. You can leave your quest companions behind by entering a different area, or by... Okay, cool. Yeah, this is very similar to the other thing. They're just going to follow me. We are all toads on this blessed day. This is great. Wait, wouldn't that mean, like, all of those, like, princes or princesses who turned into toads? Wouldn't mean that they all were charmed, and then... Wait, wait a second. Do I have a Pirogo, minion? Minion guide. Do I have a Pirogo? I do not have a Pirogo. Oh, I do have a Pirogo! Let's go! We got another frog! Yes! Beautiful. Oh, so we only have this area to work with. Gotcha. Oh, wait, they have walking animations? Wait. Wait. What's that like, that meme song from, like, Vine where it was, like, Bad Bitch or something like that? just play that over this. We're all roaming down, making my way downtown. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, why can't I do this to myself, like, all the time? Just, like, make myself into a frog at all times. Ah. I'm having way too much fun with this. Please. Please. Wait, hand? There we go. Please. Just say ribbit. I just want my moment of joy, if the only thing they can say. Discuss your surroundings. Ribbit? Ribbit, ribbit. Alpha Toad fails to shake his head, but you nevertheless understand what he's trying to tell you. This is the wrong way. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Perhaps she is suggesting you cross the bridge. Gotcha. Yes. Mr. Steelio Toad is on his way. Let's see. Oh, it's the other bridge that we need to go to. Gotcha. Perfect. Oh, maybe we should stick to the roads so that we don't get attacked. That would be good. My joy cannot, like, overtake the fact that I am a vulnerable toad and I will get murdered the second I get attacked. I'm a toad with 29,000 HP, though. Alright, how about here? Is here good? Like 1 HP, yeah. I am the god among toads. Yes. I have the whole 2 HP. Yes. Oh my god.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
What would these be?
Another lengthy list.
Indeed.
If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
Push to the breaking point. Hopefully they don't lash out at him.
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty.
Oh?
And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge.
Like being another arc, sort of. Because when we were in the library, they were talking about how the actual, like, sort of founding of Sharlayan was very similar to, like, a Noah's Ark story, where they had the boat, the Ark, that they saved a whole bunch of people from a giant tide in one of the calamities. I think it was the third, I think? So they're doing pretty much the same sort of thing here. However, it doesn't seem like they're willing to save a huge portion of the world. I would probably venture to guess that it's more specific. They need to protect something rather than their people. Probably.
I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
That would probably explain why they would never... Actually, yeah, that would explain why they would have to stay out of everything. If they were charged with protecting some great thing or something like that, then they would want to stay out of everything to protect that. Even if it meant few nations collapse, things like that happen, world ends on the outside, stuff like that, it doesn't matter. We got this thing down at our lowest level that we're still protecting. Interesting.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish to be exploited, we are Sharlayan scholars and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
I love this guy's voice actor. I love him a lot.
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty.
This charged with a momentous duty. So is the book that I read upstairs not entirely accurate with all of that? Or were they I'm wondering what sort of time frame this was in. Maybe the whole founding thing here was actually a little bit different. Maybe on the boat they had the thing. Ooh.
And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge.
Fulfill that charge. So, before the founding of Sharlayan, they were charged with doing something that would only occur during the final days. At least from his wording, that doesn't necessarily mean any sort of apocalyptic event, though it could still mean it. But he's sort of specifically saying final days here, not something like world's end or something like that. Interesting choice of words here in this guy's
I can
speech.
say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Greatest good. Which leads me to believe that this is probably something... yeah. Theory crafting. I suspect that they possibly have something that can stop the final days. Possibly. Because greatest good... I mean, there are some weird relics around the world. Like, oh, what was it? The like unbreakable sphere thing that Ultima had, that had the like Ultima spell in it and stuff like that. There are weird relics that were way before the Allagans and stuff, which are most likely like original things. So maybe they have something like that. I don't know.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
Or maybe we're just inside a giant spaceship and we're gonna fly to the moon. And they're all prepping for that. We could just get off this planet. That would be wild.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
The assassins are on their way. You know too much. Hi.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full.
What a bro. Oh, Giga Chad Aaronville, honestly. He knew the entire time. I love this so much.
While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart.
Frog details, yes. Frogs are weird.
Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Did his hair just like pop in? I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Master plan of theirs? Yes. Yeah, they're sort of playing with fire here with the literal end of the world happening.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
I mean, he goes around collecting all sorts of creatures. I would assume he knows that there are no frogs on this level.
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, they could just leave. Just say yeet, just kick themselves into space. Interesting. Our toad performance needs work, apparently. Yes, it does. I mean, we were in front of an expert in, like, biology and, like, figuring out all sorts of things. He probably knows, like, every single creature that's on this floor. I'll have to pay more attention the next time I see one. I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived. Yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. Honestly, he's a bro. He just met us. We're just like, hey, we want to learn the secrets of everything going on down here. And, yeah, we're just going to go a roundabout way. He's just like, oh, yeah, screw it. I'll just help you out. I don't mind getting fired or killed or anything like that. Oh, yeah, I got you. More importantly, perhaps we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle. This momentous duty, a forum agent mentioned. Sharlayan has been called to action, and the Telophoroid's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever large charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. Ooh. This may be the part of me that sort of leans into theories way too much and leans into, like, very small amount of information being given to me. And please do not confirm or deny this at all if this is the case. But what if that, like, that spaceship that was in the cinematic and is, like, on every single piece of cover or something like that was actually a spaceship, like, that's just underground. And all of this is just a giant cover-up so they can dig down to it and like get in it and be prepared to fly it out of get out of Dodge while they can. Because important charge, and it would heavily fall into that sort of arc imagery that we've seen, an arc like speech that we've had in, like, talk about the boats and things like that. They could have come across, like, some ancient knowledge or something and found something that even the Alligans couldn't dig up because it was so far down. And all of this was just a cover-up so they could quickly and easily, because they couldn't do that much on the island up above, all this is just a cover-up so they can quickly and easily funnel things down when it's time to actually leave. Alright, I have officially become a conspiracy theorist. A guide of sorts. Alizé is staring off in the direction of Erenville, in the direction Erenville departed, a thoughtful look on her face. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Kryl at the moment, see what they think of this. Interesting. Yeah, because it could be like because Amarat was in the first, and that was like a giant thing that was just sort of there. Frog. That was just sort of a giant thing that was just sort of there at some point. There's nothing to say that other things couldn't just be scattered around that were left from that time. And that, like, maybe there were other people that escaped in different ways, or we still don't fully know how the Unsundered sort of survived a lot of things. There's a lot of weird, like, small details that I know this game wouldn't miss out on the chance to just, like, blow our minds and explain. Like, how did the Unsundered actually get out of there and, like, survive? Everyone else was ripped apart and everything like that. Like, most of the other Ascians had to be repaired. like, where their memories had to be like shoved back into them, like surgeons putting back in some dude's liver. Like, that was a little weird analogy, but hey, like, how do they get out of here? Did they go to the moon? What happened? Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville, then? Yes. Oh, I should have spoken Alizé and Alpino, dang it. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important. Even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryl. I feel like that was a lot more than nobody knows much of anything. We should share this all with Kryl, then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at that farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. Ooh. I wonder if she's successfully spoken with Heidelin now. She's trying to. Still trying to figure out why she can't and I can. But, in the matter of repeating myself, I guess we still haven't had the confirmation that we can where we are right now. So there's a great possibility that it's the area influenced by all this. But, interesting. I still love this area, though. So cool. But, yeah, actually, dang it. I'm doing so much theory crafting. But, like, all of this is fairly reminiscent of Amarat's sort of design and things like that. So maybe there is something down there that's actually, like, old Asian stuff. Oh, is she actually up on that hill? Where was it? It was up there, wasn't it? It is in the zone. You know what? I think we have another sort of area that we can go to. So I think between this whole zone and going to the next like zone that it wants me to go to, I think I might pop over to Amarat just to see. I want to refresh myself on the architectural sort of look over there. Oh, she is up here. Oh no, Kryl. The plants have taken you. Also, they've changed color. That's worrying. Snap out of it. Really? Small world. What you doing?
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting.
Cool. Thank you.
She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
Oh, you got through! Ah.
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Oh, you're the new voice. Ah, she needed a replacement, but... That's honestly... I don't know how to feel about that.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment.
Okay. Okay.
Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment.
You gonna cast one now?
It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest.
Probably, yeah, because you were... Well, for multiple reasons. But that's probably sort of the place where Zodiark was as well, which her summoning would let her interact with whatever her purpose of summoning was. And since she's a very similar sort of entity to Zodiark, that leads me to believe that, yeah, she would be sort of locked to that region most potently.
After Menphilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will.
This is trippy.
That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
Ooh.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away.
Must be taking a lot out of her just to try to communicate with us.
My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go.
Oh, so you were straining to yourself this entire time trying to keep that alive. Oh.
Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
Yes. We're learning more things, as cryptic as they are.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Oh, we're getting kicked out. Crap. Yep. Oh. Ah, it's him.
Master
No ticket.
Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Well, we're snooping around too much. We're drawing too much attention to ourselves. I knew that they'd have a way of knowing we were down here.
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization.
Well, technically that's the truth, but
We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian.
Ah, it's the lift guy. Knew we shouldn't have gone in there.
A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities.
I love that this is the track that's playing for this.
Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
I mean, that's like the core principle of Sharlayan, isn't it? Seek the truth.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
So it's something they don't want Fandaniel or the Asians to know about.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
No, I think it's going to be something a little bit more...
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
No.
Grah! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Forever Ribbit. The eternal Ribbit.
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Grah, really? Future man,
Refusing
really?
to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
I mean, we'll be in front of them no matter what, so may as well just question them a little bit while we're there. I mean, we can't tell anybody on the outside what's going on in here if we're detained. So hey, they have no reason to not give us that information then.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Ah, good. Leave your weapons at the door. Stola just tries to bring the staff in, pull a Gandalf. That'd be badass. Oh, we're just getting straight into it. Okay, I'm gonna hit the snooze button on this ad then. Spear, yes. My walking stick. Ah. All of the people in their weird hats. All of the people in their weird hats. Oh, jeez.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together.
Yes.
I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
Hopefully he learned something good. You know, he's probably one of the better ones at picking out weird information. I mean, he was one of the guys who helped figure out time travel, so... and space travel. Hmm.
The forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
We've been poking around. Sneaking into places we shouldn't be.
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
She has her hood down. But no, we are actually, like, he's a student of Baldessian and a Scion. She's a student of Baldessian and a Scion. I mean, her last name is Baldessian.
These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
What? I mean, when you're not cooped up in this stupid place, you learn about things, and the students weren't even holed up here. That's why they're so intrigued by things. Everyone who leaves this island gets more interested in the world at large. You would know if you had left.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
Well, that shut you all up.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer?
That was... Yeah, that caught me off guard. Like... Okay, good cutscene. I will continue.
Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Ah, we probably should not be telling them this in the middle of their room, but you do you, Y'shtola.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society.
But there's an underlying purpose.
And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd.
Odd, you say?
From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted.
Oh. Really?
No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge.
So they found something. Or someone told them something, or... Oh, it really just depends on what time frame this was in. Because... If it was around the time where they changed it... Ooh! If it was around the time where they changed it so that the forum was 100 people instead of every person, that could be interesting. Because that could explain a lot. They would have changed it so that only a select few who actually knew of what was going on would be actually doing that. Alright, well, let's, what have you to say?
The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility.
Preservation of the world is what I'm assuming.
I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony.
Did they find something in Dravania?
The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives.
Oh.
Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene.
Yes, there's way more than that.
But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
Wasn't the forum built around 300-ish? Somebody said around 300 before, I'm pretty sure.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea.
Oh.
You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Fascinating.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
What? What?
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore.
It seemed like he was almost force choked for that.
Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission not through strife and bloodshed, but survival.
What?
Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
And end screen.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Are they not able to tell us? Or are they just not going to?
Father, Master Fortuner. I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania.
Perhaps both, yes. 1d8 stab wounds.
Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me.
Oh, my heart.
So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
Oh. My heart, man. Oh. Yeah. God, Alpino has grown up so much. It's so good. It's a shame that it's off of the back of such horrible things. But he's grown up so much. It's so satisfying.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Yes, Team Alfie. Shut up, old man!
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand.
Terrible. Yes, let's return. Well, really, we should, stop the end of the world, but, you do you in your internal politics and things.
By their own admission, these scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same.
Evidence means that they have something that they're doing. Continue.
Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given?
I like this guy. Hopefully he doesn't turn like Fauchenalt and just turn around and slap us a little bit. But
no. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Please do. I like that guy. He's the guy that they were...
we will have order!
I think he's the guy that they were saying was at least the most like their grandfather, in that he'd be willing to help out and things like that, but for some reason he just, stopped, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. At least to an extent.
Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures.
Please don't. Please don't keep us in a cage. Please don't keep us in a cage.
Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan.
That's not banished. And my game crashed. What's going on today? What did they do an update or something like that? I just got all right. Good.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points.
Okay,
Keeping
cross your
such
fingers.
concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates.
Good. Okay, so we can't investigate, but we're not getting thrown out, which is good.
Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
Everyone. Oh, a good portion. That's good. There's some, like this
I count
person up here.
51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed.
One of the opposition was absent. Yes. It's not cheating, it's creative use of presence in this place.
Students, scions, you have heard the forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
You didn't even take my vote. Rude.
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
You're not going to tell us anything? Ah. Well, that's not going to stop us. We already knew this was all going to happen before. None of this is going to stop us. Hey, there we go. All right. Now we're caught up. Now no more crashes. I cannot believe that cutscene ended with like 3 things left to say. That was possibly one of the worst crashes I've ever experienced in this game. And now all talk of crashes shall end suddenly, so that we will not have any issues. It was like 3 pieces of dialogue until the end. Okay. Estate visitor. Well, we shall go over there and do that. The rostra. Let us proceed. To the rostra. Yes. Cool. We are free from this purgatory now. Good. Good. Well, yes, to sort of wrap up our earlier conversation about Shadowbringers, great expansion, possibly favorite game of all time. I've heard Endwalker, certain people like Endwalker better, who are people that like similar games and stuff that I do. So really looking forward to how Endwalker like continues and how the rest of the story plays out and stuff like that. Oh, that would have been horrible if that had gone through, Rack. That would have been bad. But funny timing. But I would have hated it. Alright, so now, let's chat with everyone here. My father may be right, that I am still groping in the dark for answers, but I needed him to know that I would never stop searching. I owed that much to our vault, and myself. May encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. Did that get you that bad? Ah, fantastic. I believe in the guiding principles of the Scions, and I know my grandfather would have as well. We shall have to think very carefully about how we are to proceed from here. I apologize for the trouble I have caused you. I was pondering the significance of what I had just read as I left the restricted section, and I knocked over the security mehmet on the way out. Promise me more vigilant next time. Raha, really? Good. All right. Well, we shall continue on. Further onwards into Endwalker. Hopefully well, not hopefully to finish this section, but I think it's probably coming soon. The overall picture has grown quite clearer, yes. But that's in spite of the forums being so maddeningly vague about the duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may. Is father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Elfino? Alze? It is you! Oh, is this their mother? Oh! When I heard you had been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I'm so very glad they allowed you to stay. Mother? Ah, she's pretty too. She looks like she's a lot nicer. That's good. Ah. Hello, it's good to meet you. Ameliance Levior, at your service. Alright, quickly, tell me what the meme name is for her. I assume that the community has given her a meme name. Or maybe she's a minor character and doesn't get one. Oh. Oh, this is a good track, too. Let's go. Oh, this is a great track. And you fine people must be the scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. That's true. Like Chevrolet. Mother, please. We don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches father that you were here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking to my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fongenon, Master Chevrolet, are not at the best of terms at the moment, but I have been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts awaiting. Oh? The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go, visit your home. We will be back at the annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Arian, what do you think? Arian? The Arian Panthera? Oh! What a splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. It's pretty rare that our last name gets used. We must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Ah, she seems much nicer. Yes. Arian, you'd be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. I'm on it. I got it. And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. Are you sure you're okay? I know you were just sort of possessed by Heidelin for a little while. It's a little worrying. Make sure you get good rest. Rest up well. It's gonna be a little while till I next see you. Poke you in the face with the thing. Rest up, Ryle. You'll need it. Ah. Does man just walk? You just walk up from like down. Magic. Magicians. Comfy. Good and comfy. I apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Arian? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us to our visit home? Yes. Ah, he's following. I love. This is quite possibly one of my favorite features of any expansion. I know it's like one of those little gimmicky features that's like just like, this is cool. But I love the fact that we can just sort of like vibe and just like talk and stuff like that. Who is this man? Hello. Flash wave. Yes. Oh gosh, they're home. Yes. Hopefully it'll be cozy experience, not at all like crazy. Fine, if we're going, then let's get this over with. But be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into your private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room was always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood toys. I mean, never mind. The Levior estate is that way. Straight down the stairs, come on. Oh, it's nothing to be ashamed about or anything like that. Yeah, same sort of accompanying thing. I mean, like, everyone has, like, toys and things they keep from their child and stuff like that. I, myself, have some stuffed animals from when I was a kid that I would probably never throw away. I also have the blanket that I was, like, brought home with when I was born. I still have that. All good mementos. All good stuff to keep around. After all we've been through together, 'tis strange to be here with you now, to come full circle and see how much has changed. You had almost nothing? Well, cleaning up and stuff like that, some people don't have the space for that sort of thing. It seems like pretty much every house in America just has, like, enough attic space to keep things around, or, like, a nice storage closet to put, like, a container or something in with a couple things. My family's particularly open about keeping a lot of the stuff from, like, my childhood. Like, my mom likes to keep around a lot of the oh, you destroyed most of it. Oh, I see. When I was a kid, we have a bunch of, like, well, I guess it helps when your school constantly puts things in your way to, like, and like, hey, well, in art class, hey, you have this, like, cool little thing. You can draw this thing or paint this thing in watercolor. And then for $50, your parents can buy this as a magnet or oven mitts. Yeah, that was a lot of, like, growing up in America. It's like a lot of these little things. I think my grandma actually still has a lot of those. A lot of, like, the oven mitts and things like that. We still have a couple magnets. They're still in our fridge. The Levior estate is in the northern part of Journey's End, just down the stairs from the rostra. Oh, and please don't make a fuss when we get there. It's only a house. It is a big house. I was given a little nickname a while back. Little Destroyer in Icelandic. Yeah, that certainly fits you. It does certainly fit you. For everyone who's not aware, Rag is the barbarian in the group. His first instinct when playing D&D was to pick barbarian, a giant dragonborn barbarian who just, like, wants to fight and things. He's actually a pretty cool character. He's from, like, a very militaristic background. It's kind of cool. When Alize and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. Barbarian. Fancy Sharlayan barbarian. Yes, the furthest thing they would do is throw a book across the room. That's the most they would do. Actually, that would actually be the perfect, like, job description for whoever's role it is to perfect and keep, like, martial techniques or, like, combat techniques and things like that. They are in the business of keeping things. Oh, I rage. When I turn the page, that would be a now I'm just imagining, like, in D&D, it's a barbarian who has, like, a really customized, like, throwing weapon where they just have a selection of books in a backpack, and the DM has, like, a really flavored throwing weapon where they just throw the books at something. That would be cool. That would actually be a really cool, like, idea. He just sits there just, like, reading. It's like, yeah. Yeet! And now look at us, traveling to different continents, different worlds even. Yeah, are you gonna tell your mom about that? Are you gonna tell your dad about that? Hey, by the way, we went to a different plane of existence? A different shard of our world? As children, Alf and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning over the railings to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at the exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. This is sort of leaning more into, I think that I'm thinking that he's actually not that bad of a guy, and that just the circumstances are forcing him to push away his children so they don't get caught up in whatever the fuck's going on right now. Because, or whatever the hell is going on right now. I'm trying to be a little bit more family friendly. It is snow. It's snowing. Wait. Here's page. Cliffhangers! Ah! Meanwhile, they have like a custom journal where they write poems that only have cliffhangers. So they can... That's how they get their rage! They can rage at the fact that it's a cliffhanger on that chapter. That's... Meanwhile, on Azaleus' stream, coming up with very flavored barbarians for Dungeons & Dragons. That's how they get their rage. Oh yes, this is where I first practiced magic in an actual person. Huh? Excuse me? Just Sparta kicks people off of cliffs. Alze had fallen, you see, and scraped her knee quite badly. So I tried casting a simple restorative spell I had only just learned. How she smiled when the wound closed. The joy in relief. That was, I believe, the very moment I chose the healing arts as the main subject of my studies. You all travel to Atlanta by the way of magic, yet there are cliffs! Cliffs! Yes. I love having hands. Hands are nice. I love having the use of my arms. I can be so emotive, so expressive. Yes. I used to come here all the time with grandfather. In summer, I would dip my hands and feet in the mountains and splash about. Not Alphino, though. Even back then, he wasn't very fond of playing in water. Once more, we get to bully the Alphino for not being able to swim. Apparently, he has gotten better at it. Apparently. Not Alphino, though. He wasn't very fond of playing in water. He'd make any excuse to avoid it, which would explain how I came to swim like an auk, and he sink like a stone. Next up, get to pointing at things on the screen from over the shoulder. Yeah, I have done that before. If I go to, I think it's my normal like waiting room screen. Here, let me, and I can bully you, even though my left hand doesn't like doing that. I can point in your general direction, like, chat, hello, look at that over there. That's pretty neat. How neat is that? That's pretty. Going on a nature walk. Alright. Speaking of nature walk, let's go up to their house. It looks pretty neat. And absolutely goddamn gigantic. She looks like a good mom. Very wholesome. Good. And here you are at last. Please, do come in. Alright, everyone get your cozies on. Get your blankets. It's snowing outside. We're cozying up by the fire. Okay, hi. Wow.
Welcome, my lady.
This is a big house. Damn. I would never be able to live in a place like this. I would lose my mind.
What? What are you gawping at?
Wait, really? What? Oh, wait. It might just be like that, what is it? Deja vu sort of thing where like you remember something because someone told you it. But yeah, I think I might actually remember that person. It has been a long time. But Ah, House Levior in all its grandeur. Scion headquarters must seem squalid indeed. Bully the Alizé. Bully.
I'll have you know I'm quite fond of the Rising Stones.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit.
No, he will not. He will hear nothing.
And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Good. Wait, where's Sunglasses Guy? I want to see him. Oh, there he is.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
I just had a brain blast. Is that the guy that I made the I'm blue dabba dee dabba died joke on way all the way back there? Later, 4 cheese and it to his servants. You are all not to have any secrets from me. Yes, yes. Angry father. No secrets in this house. Yes, accompany me upstairs. Good. Go with him.
We shan't be long.
Yes. You shan't. You can't, because he's going to be back soon, and we have to leave. Get out of Dodge. Oh, hello.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures.
Those have been getting to you.
I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying.
Yeah, that's probably the big detail of, we have visited an entire plane of existence.
Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations.
Oh, that's nice.
Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. 'Tis clear that they have come to find value in every experience.
Especially, well, I guess, yeah, the both of them have really grown up from the we must find adventure, we must do things that are good and all of that. Both of them have really gone into adventuring and doing things for the good of it rather than trying to force their ways and looking up to their grandfather and things like that. They've really grown up. It's really, really nice to see.
But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
Oh, shucks.
"'Tis plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them.
I got their backs.
Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Yes! I have plenty. Yes. I've been far. I'm a little bit more concerned that she was able to laugh at any sort of story that I'd be able to tell. Like, sure, I've saved a lot of things and things like that, but man, pretty much every story is very dark.
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect.
Yes! The both of them are getting their equipment and things. Oh, yes, she finally gets a new outfit.
Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
Perfect.
perfect. Exactly
really
what I would have
cool.
chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alpha now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore.
Oh, wait, please tell me he gets his sage stuff now. That would be so cool.
And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
I'm honestly probably going to miss his original his old outfit. But he's had that since what? Evans Ward? Nice for a glam up. Oh, it's yes.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I like it. Look at that. He actually looks a lot like an Ishgardian dude. I love it.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you would allow me, Master Alphino.
Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father.
Yo. That's sick.
Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days. As a student, he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now.
So cool. You know, I was kind of hoping that he would get that in some sort of battle or something like that. Or like he would need to take up the sword or the sage's tools or something like that. But the really wholesome side of it, that it's his father's, is also really nice. I like that a lot.
And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry.
Wait, can I? Ah, I can't wink. That's really cool. And his job
I am told
stone.
these devices are quite difficult to master. But someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
It is horrible, isn't it?
We will, Mother. I promise.
Yes.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortunato has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work.
Really like control, but I know it's been sort of weird continuity. But yeah. Well, time to have a deja vu, speak with their mother again. Yes. Oh, where'd that weird man in a suit go? Wait, I can actually... Where is it? Glamour plate. Let me... No, that's not it. There we go. Alright, well, we'll start this cutscene with a really weird... We'll be their butler at the beginning of this cutscene. That's what'll happen. Let's go! Beautiful.
Welcome home, my lady.
Perfect. All right, now we can skip. I want to see. I love that outfit. All right, now we can skip that cutscene. We have the continuity has been restored. Everything is fine. The world is back in order. Yes. Good. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her. And I, shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice. As will these tokens of home that we carry with us. These gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Yes, this is good. This is good. To the annex. There we go. Aha. I like this place that we can just sort of like come back to. This feels a lot like the house in Heavensward that we could just like hop back to and things like that. We didn't really have a great spot for that in Stormblood, and like the entire city was that place in Shadowbringers. I guess it was like the inn place, but don't you think for a moment that I'm jealous of Alphino's new weapons? They're far more suited to him than me. We left for Eorzea in matching outfits, but our styles, both fashion and fighting, have long since diverged. If anything, I'm proud of the differences between us. Yeah, I think last stream I was sitting here like just looking around and things like that. We got like a bunch of really cool stuff in here. I'll go back around real quick after this because I want to see things. I love the stuff that's in here. If I intend to master these sages' armaments, that will mean learning to imbue them with the same ether that I poured into Moonstone and Obsidian. It is difficult to grasp the essence of such an entity for me. It will help to think of the Nuliths as allies in battle. Simply a new form of energy, which went into manifesting my carbuncle companions. For us to feel responsible for the schism of House Levior would be pure hubris. After all, we are merely on the outskirts of what is, essentially, a family affair. And yet neither can claim the indifference of strangers. To hear their mother welcome them so warmly was a joy and a relief. Yes. Hey, what's up, Graha? I know you were scouring the tomes, figuring out all the information you could. As curious as I am to learn of this duty, or to learn the truth of this duty, I wonder what else the Forum is hiding. A calamitous secret whose origin lies in the ethereal sea. Duplicity aside, however, I do believe Master Fontenal means us. I do not believe Master Fontenal means us ill. Even the harsh words he had for his children stemmed not from anger, I think, but desperation. Yes. They haven't even left. Ha! We got all this done, they've been just like hanging around. Enjoyed your time with the Leviors, I hope? I would ask how the twins fared, but the new outfits tell the tale. I only hope that we can help them reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide. And the flower bequeathed to you by Heidelin is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that we have scouted out the situation in Thavnir, that once you've scouted out the situation in Thavnir, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Nice! And perfect time to hit level 81. Beautiful. Perfect. But yeah, I think last stream when we started getting into to Endwalker, we looked at some of this stuff. I like the good King Moggle right over there. We got the map of the stuff prior to. Actually, no, that is just the eastern map. I'm thinking this is one of those things that are in like the Allegan teleporters, if I'm remembering right. More Allegan things from. How do they get this picture? Where did they get this? These are gone now. That's kind of cool though. And yeah, the Crystal Tower and the whole dig site area. This has sort of stumped me a little bit. It kind of see who survived to see this exactly. I'm a little lost on this one and this one. This one I think I should have an understanding of. Maybe? No. I'm drawing a blank on this one too. This whole wall here is a little bit of I'm drawing a blank on it. It's like a Crystal Tower castle thing, which is pretty neat. It has some corrupted crystal, it looks like. It's cool. That's a either dragon or airship. It kind of looks like a dragon. There's just the whole map of what we know. We're currently here. Kind of neat. I don't know if there was an airship, but there was an old 1.0 keep. Yeah, I have seen the Keep of the Lake cutscene. I went through, at one point, I did look through a bunch of the 1.0 stuff in my lore-crazed times. In a simpler time before Endwalker came out. And, yeah, I was thinking, because there are some, if I can get a better look at that. It does kind of look like Midgardstormer's head, like over here or something. Kind of like wrapped around, and like his wings down here. But there's so many mechanical parts to this. It was the, what was it? The Agrius that fell in the lake? We've got the star chart up there, which is kind of cool. We've got another map. They really like their maps in here. I think that's, isn't that the Sea of Clouds? Or, I don't know what that is. Hello, Estinian. That's an Estinian. He's very rare. We managed to pick him up. He cost a lot. There's Garuda, though looking a little bit different from the Garuda we know. These are a little bit more like, I suppose that it's just an artistic rendition of that. Pretty neat. I like this room a lot. Gives us a lot of cool things to look at. And I think that's the area from the original A Realm Reborn trailer, isn't it? The one where the Warriors of Light were running into the distance to on their chocobos at the end of it. Yes. Good cutscene. I don't think I'm going to get into the next section of the MSQ for right now. Mostly because I don't have enough time to properly get into... Actually, no, I wanted to grab... Wait, let's see. Where's our cool glam? I've got so many glams. You know what? I'll wear this. There we go. Yeah, I don't have enough time to properly get into all that, so we will just go around. Is there any other stuff that I really need to do today? Actually, you know what? I do need to go get some dinner and things beforehand. So I think that's probably where we'll call it today. I will save my energy for hopefully a tomorrow stream. I think being able to go into the next area finally refreshed and with the horrid knowledge of all of the yeah, all of the things that are happening here. Yes. Yes, that will be a good place to pick up. Good place. But yeah, as always, thank you everyone so much for watching. I look forward to many more streams of Final Fantasy in the future. We will be back hopefully tomorrow. As always, I'll post in the Discord, or I'll try to post in the Discord. I know I didn't do for today, but I will try to post in the Discord if I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow a little bit earlier. Then the stream is starting, and we will have a good time. But yeah, have a good morning, evening, good night, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I got you, Reg.